Welcome to the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast. I am your host, Suzanne. This podcast was created with you in mind. Each episode is crafted with the goal of empowering you to be the best version of you. The intent is for you to realize that your only competition is yourself, and no one else has the power to determine your self-worth. So join me on this journey. Hey guys, I am so excited about this episode. It came about as I was having a conversation with one of my coaching clients this week, and it said something that kind of like threw me, and I had to have some deep conversations. Y'all know I'm a talker, so I had to have some deep conversations to get to where I needed them to go. So this is titled Work Smarter, Not Harder. Listen, the idea of working hard has been deep rooted in us, okay? Especially in the African-American community, in the Black community, hard work is something that you're taught, I swear, from birth. It is the expectation. It is the norm. All right. You learn at a very early age that you can't even just work hard. You have to work harder than everyone else. Okay. In the Black community, when you are working with your other counterparts, you have to work so much harder to prove that you are qualified, that you deserve to be there. You can't just skate bys on A's and B's. You have to get A and above. All right. To be in the room, you have to be better than, what other folks are doing. It's funny. Sometimes you'll see, so I'm on LinkedIn a lot. I've been utilizing LinkedIn, and I'll see them post these entry-level positions, but they're expecting, 2 to 3 years of experience. Wait a minute, it's this entry-level position with entry-level pay. Why do you need 2 to 3 years of experience to do something? So it's the same way in the Black community. You're given opportunity to entry-level positions, but you need a master's degree, you need a bachelor's to navigate these roles. All right. So anyway, as I mentioned, I was coaching this client. They mentioned something about them needing to work harder. And I asked them additional question because I'm like, all right, where are we going with this? And deeper questioning kind of revealed to me that they believe that working harder would yield them better compensation and promotion. Now, I was ready to go there, but I'm like, no, I want them to arrive at this by themselves, because this is not often the case. Working harder doesn't always necessarily get you what you want. All right. There's a saying that goes, work smarter, not harder. And I have uttered this over and over again, but I wanted my client to see this. I wanted them to arrive at this. I wanted them to believe it. I wanted this to resonate with them. All right. Working hard does not equate recognition. It doesn't equate to being promoted. It doesn't equate to being better compensated. It often turns out that you end up being overworked and burnt out. Minimum wage workers are some of the hardest working people I know. Sometimes they're working 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet. They never advance in pay or promotion. And before y'all come at me and say anything about them choosing to work minimum wage, listen, I'm going to ask that you check your empathy, and you're going to check your privilege, because not everyone has the opportunity to do different. Sometimes you're born into circumstances, and it is very, very hard to be the first one to break that generational thing. So until somebody gets out, that's all they know. And minimum wage workers, y'all remember during the pandemic, folks working at Walmart all of a sudden became essential workers. They had to be there, right? They were not adequately or fairly compensated, but they became essential workers. And folks in nice, jobs, they have the ability to stay home and work remote. But those minimum wage workers had to be on the front line. I remember I was home and I was ordering groceries. And at that time, we were washing this groceries down with soap and all sorts of things. But anyway, Lord, don't take me back, right? And the Walmart near me, they had to shut that down because they had an outbreak. Like 40 something employees had COVID, right? I know we're not hearing about COVID a lot, and it hasn't gone away because folks are still getting it and folks are still dying from COVID complications. But it shook me because these people had to be out of their home at these jobs and putting themselves on the front line. So don't you dare say minimum wage workers don't work hard. And as an African-American woman, I've had to work that much harder at everything that I do. Black women, y'all understand. Black men understand. The Black community understands this. In school, I personally had to work so much harder than everybody else, constantly dealing with microaggressions, constantly dealing with professors who were surprised by the quality of my prose. All right, see what I did there? I'm a writer. I had to throw that in. Surprised by the quality of my prose. All right. So I felt that I was personally being judged harshly. And maybe everyone didn't have this scenario, didn't have this experience, but this is my experience. My writing was scrutinized and broken down when my peers, they were lauded for being mediocre. Their writing was okay, but it was lauded as if it was, something great. In the professional sphere, I also had to prove myself. I was constantly being praised for being articulate after I spoke. And I know y'all are saying that's a compliment. I'm telling you, and I've said it before in another episode, it is not a compliment when I speak and you say to me, you're so articulate. That's as if to me, you're expecting gibberish to come out of my mouth. I mean, if I'm in the same room as you, at least believe that I'm at the same level as you so I can get up and do a speech. So do not act shocked when you hear me speak. Do not act shocked when you hear me talk about my achievements, my accomplishments, or my education. I have had to work harder than my peers who have had no challenges getting promoted. But I had to work that much harder to even be considered. Over the years, working professionally, I learned that not only though that I have to work harder, but you know what I figured out? I had to work smart. I had to be strategic. I had to be my biggest advocate. And then folks got offended. Yeah, some folks got offended because they felt like I was constantly promoting myself. But you know what? I wasn't. Because it wasn't like promoting myself. It was advocating for myself, because if I don't advocate for myself, then who? If not me, then who? And, so it's a double-edged sword, because it's like, if you don't talk about yourself, they don't talk about you. But if you talk about yourself, you're full of yourself. I'm not falling for that okie doke. Listen to me. Speak to your skill set. Folks were happy to utilize my skill sets. And those are places that I had to move away from without adequately compensating me, without adequately promoting me. When it came to that money conversation, well, this is the budget and this is what we can do. And this is what we stick to. And, there's bonuses and things like that. Or when it came to being promoted, it was questions like, this is the normal path. You have to go through this and through that. And other folks are able to jump over things to get to other things. But I had to work that much harder just to prove that I deserve to be in the room. So trust me, I understand the concept of working hard. I've been working hard my entire life. Like Sophia in The Color Purple, when she said, all my life I had to fight. Baby, all my life, I have had to work hard. All right. So for those of you who have this mentality that to get ahead, all you have to do is work hard, I'm going to strip you off that mentality right now. You do need to work hard, but you also need to work smart. You need to work smarter. All right. You need to make sure that working hard is working for you. So I'm going to give you 2 seconds to go grab a pen and a paper. I don't know if you want to and it's a recording, but if you want to jot it down on your phone, whatever you have to do, I'm going to give you a few tips. 5 tips, actually. I'm not going to give you. Normally I try to stick to 3, but tonight is 5. I want to strip you of the mentality that you should work hard. Number 1, work hard, but work smarter. You've got to make sure that the people around you know that you are working hard. You have to develop new skill sets. And you have to take advantage of any developmental resources that are available to you, because you are building you. Okay? So work smarter. Any new role or anything that you are doing, make sure you learn what you are doing. Number 2, as your skill set increases, so does your price. Remember, in number 1, I said learn new skill sets. All right. Number 2, as your skill sets increases, your price needs to increase because you know more than you knew when you went in, and you're constantly growing, evolving, and learning. So your price increases. Number 3, as your work responsibilities increases, so does your price. Because you went from doing work of 1 to 2 to 3, sometimes 5 people. And they will try to have the conversation to say, hey, yeah, you're only doing a little more. No, they know exactly what you're doing, and you should be adequately compensated for this. That's number 3. Number 4, if you are not getting constant feedback, ask for conversation about your growth, your development, your career path with someone who has the power to make decisions. Do not let anybody get by without having those conversations with you. What's next? Where's the path for you? And make sure that you're strategic. Make sure you have these things written down. What's their career plan for you? Because every leader has a succession plan. Make sure that you're a part of that conversation that deals with your growth and development. A lot of folks shy away from getting feedback, but ask for constant feedback. All right. And if they don't want to give you feedback, red flag. I'm just saying. Number 5, be your biggest advocate. Listen, we all want to assume that our bosses, our peers, the people that are above us will be talking about us when we're not in the room. But this is not always the case. You need to keep track of your accomplishments, and you need to highlight them. You need to know that conversations are happening in rooms that you're not a part of. Conversations are happening with your boss, and their boss, and all these stakeholders, all these people that have the power to make decisions. So you need to ensure that you are a part of those conversations, okay? Even if you're not in the room. And that's when these are all things that's going to work together, like all these little steps, because when you're having those conversations and asking for constant feedback, they will have no choice but to mention you. Highlight your accomplishments, develop your skill sets, do all of that. All right. So those are the 5 things that I'm going to leave with you in regards to stripping you of that mentality of working hard. All right. This is a deep-rooted generational topic, especially for the Black community. And I am not saying that hard work doesn't pay off. Absolutely, hard work pays off. You need to work hard. You can't be lazy and expect to win. People at the top of their game work extremely hard. The Michael Jordans, the Serena Williams, the Usain Bolts, the Simone Biles, and countless others who are at the top of their field. They work hard. Yes, they were born with a natural talent, but they had to work hard. Countless hours in the gym, countless hours on the basketball court, on the tennis court, running. They had to practice, but they also worked smart. Okay. And one other person I do want to highlight, Kevin Hart. And I know he's in everything. And I love to see him in everything. I think he's like the hardest working man in Hollywood. I remember when he was just the bit player, he was just a part of the cast. Now he is the star of the cast. Okay. So, and he does movies and comedy specials and all sorts of things. And I like what he does because every accomplishment he has, he celebrates it and he highlights his win and he'll speak to the greatness of it. Even before it comes out, he will say, this is going to be great. This is going to be epic. When he posts a picture, he will say great pitch, rock star pitch, dope pitch, whatever it is. He's promoted himself because even if you don't believe it, he believes it, and you have to believe in yourself. I absolutely adore and love his mentality, and he had to be to get to where he is today, the level. And he works extremely hard. I know that this culture is geared toward telling you that you can get famous, you can be rich and all of this without doing anything, but that is not true, baby. Yeah, there's some hit or misses. And even for somebody that's an influencer, and that is something that in terms of like that's a TikTok influencer, social media influencer, that just all they do is post all day. That is hard work because I don't think they have any freedom personally, or they can enjoy moments because everything is a moment, a capturable moment. You have to have your phone and post and likes, and they live by likes and trends, right? You remember fidget spinners? The whole world was crazy about it. Now, all of a sudden, where's fidget spinners? Remember Furby? So everything have a moment. So they need to capitalize on that moment. And hopefully they're being financially savvy because right now the money might be pouring in gifts and things like that. But hopefully they're investing and putting some aside for a rainy day because what's popular today might not be popular tomorrow. What's fun today might not be fun tomorrow. So they need to make sure that, yeah, they're working hard right now. It's a whole lot of fun, but they're working smart so that when that goes away, they got to adapt. It's adapt or die. Find a new skill sets, capitalize on that, but you need to be saving towards a rainy day and putting something in something because when this phase is over, what you going to do? So don't get fooled by this culture that, you can get ahead by not working hard. You can work hard. You should work hard. You will get ahead, but you also have to work smart because I don't want y'all leaving this podcast episode thinking that I'm saying don't work hard. I mean, I think I've said it over and over, but just in case you missed it, on the contrary here, folks, you must work extremely hard, especially if you want to live the life that you desire, the life that you dream of. But for the love of God, I'm going to encourage you, work smarter, not harder. Work hard, but work smarter. Don't expect others to recognize how hard you're working. Don't worry about it. Let go of what other folks are thinking and doing, and just focus on being the best version of you. All right? I thank you for listening to this episode. I am always so excited when I do an episode. It's an opportunity for me to connect with you. And I know that I don't get to see you live. So I'm so grateful and thankful for every single person that listens to an episode, every single person that likes, subscribes, share, send their feedback. If there's an episode that you would like to see me tackle, please go ahead and send me an email at Suzanne@positivelysuzanne.com. I'm excited for the month of May because I'm going to do a series on entrepreneurism. So listen out for that. I'm going to have some special guests on the podcast. So I'm absolutely, truly looking forward to that. So please reach out. So that is it for the episode. But a couple of things that I'd love for you to do. So the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast is available in all podcast directors, in Amazon and Apple and YouTube and Pandora and Spotify and Google Podcasts and FM, like all of them, y'all, everywhere. So you name it, beans, rice, potatoes, tomatoes, you name it. Yeah. All right. Okay. So I am in all the directories. So I'm going to ask if you can go ahead and whichever platform, whichever directory you get your podcasts from, please go ahead and subscribe to the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast. Please share the podcast with your friends and your family member, your peers, talk about it. Like the podcast. I mentioned subscribe, share the podcast, write a review, send me an email at Suzanne@positivelysuzanne.com. I absolutely love to hear from you. This podcast is for you, about you, all of that. And at the end of the podcast, you'll see buy me a coffee. Go ahead and buy me a coffee so I can get additional things to bring more things to you. So as always, it's an absolute pleasure to be sitting here with y'all because I imagine I'm sitting here in front of my little recording studio recording and you're there just listening and watching me. You should see my animation. I'm like, I get so passionate about these topics. So, I mean, maybe it's not a good thing you're not seeing me. So as always, I'm grateful. I'm humbled for every single listener. And until next time, this is Suzanne signing off.